All right, let's cut right through the noise. We're here to give you a clear, strategic look at what AI really means for your workforce. So forget all the doom and gloom headlines you've been seeing, because we're going to focus on the data and how this technology can actually become your single greatest advantage.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with what I call the AI productivity paradox. Then we'll dive into the real economic numbers. After that, we'll look at who is actually thriving in this new era. I'll give you an actionable roadmap, and we'll wrap up with the big goal here: how to become a superhuman enterprise.
Okay, first things first, let's just address the elephant in the room, right? There is a real anxiety out there among leaders, among employees. You can feel it. The whole story seems to be about disruption and replacement, and frankly, it's creating a ton of uncertainty. And it's no wonder people are anxious. When you have leaders of huge global companies like Ford making predictions this bold, well, it just fuels that fire. This is the narrative we're all up against. But I'm here to tell you, it's only one very small part of the story.
So the critical question you have to ask as a leader is, okay, what does the evidence actually say? Let's move past the headlines. Let's look at the comprehensive research, because a very different and honestly a much more optimistic picture starts to come into focus.
So let's get into the data. This is where we see a completely different story taking shape. And look, this isn't about speculation. This is about what large-scale studies are finding right now, out in the real world. And we're not just talking about any old studies. We're talking about heavy-hitting analysis from places like PwC, MIT, and Stanford. They've looked at literally hundreds of millions of job postings, thousands of companies, and they all point to the same clear counter-narrative. AI is a massive catalyst for growth. And this is the proof right here. This chart from PwC's analysis is so telling. It shows that the industries most exposed to AI, they aren't collapsing, not at all. In fact, they're seeing 3 times higher growth and revenue per employee. That is a huge productivity gain, and it tells us that the whole narrative of decline is just, well, it's just wrong.
So what does this mean for your people? Well, the market is sending an incredibly clear signal. Right now, workers with AI skills can command a 56% wage premium. 56%. That's up from just 25% last year. This isn't some small trend, it's a full-blown talent revolution.
And it doesn't stop there. That same huge PwC study, we're talking nearly 1 billion job ads, found that wages in these AI-heavy sectors are rising twice as fast as in others. So the value that's being created, it's being shared with the workforce. And this really puts it all into perspective. Yeah, some roles will be reduced, that's true, but the World Economic Forum is projecting the creation of 11 million new AI-related jobs. So you see, the real story here isn't about job loss, it's about profound job transformation.
All right, so we've seen the economic what. Now let's pivot and focus on the who. Which roles, which skills, which career paths are not just surviving, but are actually genuinely thriving in this new landscape?
As a leader, this presents you with a fundamental choice. Are you going to use AI in a traditional way, just for automation and to cut costs? Or are you going to adopt a truly AI-enhanced model where the focus is on augmenting your talent to create totally new kinds of value? All the data suggests that second path is where the real explosive growth is.
So when you look at the research, 3 clear archetypes just pop out. First, you have what I call the human connection powerhouses. These are roles that depend on deep empathy and judgment. Second, there's the creative revolution, where AI becomes a tool to just amplify human creativity. And third, these brand new AI-human hybrids, roles that literally exist at the intersection of tech and human smarts.
And let me be clear, these aren't some theoretical jobs of the future. They are here right now. Roles like AI implementation manager or AI prompt engineer, they're commanding serious 6-figure salaries. That tells you just how much value the market is placing on this new kind of hybrid expertise. At the same time, roles that require that deep human interaction and complex judgment, they're becoming more valuable than ever. Research shows that professions like lawyers and doctors have what they call AI resistance scores of over 90%. As AI handles the routine stuff, the human element, the complex analysis, the empathy, the strategic advice, that becomes a premium, high-value skill.
Okay, so understanding all this is one thing, but acting on it, that's what really matters. So let's shift to an actionable roadmap for developing the incredible talent you already have, focusing on those uniquely human skills that AI simply can't touch. For this, MIT has developed a really brilliant model called the Epoch Framework. It's a simple, memorable way to focus your talent development efforts. Think of it as a blueprint for the skills that are going to drive all the value in your company. It pinpoints 5 areas where humans just have a clear, durable advantage: empathy, presence, opinion, creativity, and hope.
So let's just break this down. We're talking about developing your team's ability to truly connect with customers through empathy, cultivating real presence for meaningful collaboration, sharpening their opinion and ethical judgment for those tough decisions, fostering the kind of creativity that AI can assist but never, ever originate, and finally, inspiring hope. That's the core of real leadership. These are your new economic power tools. And this all brings us to the ultimate strategic goal here. Look, the objective isn't just to bolt AI onto your existing workflow. It's to create something entirely new, a truly superhuman enterprise.
This quote from the CEO of GitHub, Thomas Domke, just nails it. The real power of AI isn't replacement, it's multiplication. It's about empowering your people to achieve things that were literally unimaginable before. This is the new engine for exponential growth.
Which brings us to the single most important takeaway from our time together. In the coming decade, your greatest competitive advantage will not be your AI models. It will be the capability, the creativity, and the judgment of your AI-enhanced people.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Moving forward, how are you going to leverage AI not just to automate a few tasks, but to fundamentally augment your talent and make your entire team superhuman? Because that, right there, is the strategic challenge and the greatest opportunity of our time.